Sex really is binary, there's no question about it. You're either male or female, and it's absolutely clear. You can do it on gamete size, you can do it on chromosomes. To me, as a biologist, distinctly weird. People can simply declare, I am a woman, though I have a penis. Helen, what do you think lies behind this odd distortion of reality?
I would say that when I started to write about it first, I quickly realised that this wasn't treated the same way as anything else. Like just asking very obvious questions, like, don't you think that if we allow people to self-identify their sex, this will lead to, for example, destroying women's sport? What we were talking about here was an intensely linguistic movement. Like, there isn't a sense in which a man can become a woman, except linguistically. Like, yes, okay, he can have operations. Most trans people don't have any operations, don't take any medicine. But that doesn't change your sex.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I gotta tell you guys, one of the most disturbing trends in our society is seeing biologists and scientists go against reality, because these people's jobs are quite literally to study reality. And when they are not in touch with reality, then we have a problem, a very, very, very serious problem. Okay, I mean, this is actually probably one of the things I am concerned about the most in regards to the direction of this country, where you have scientists, again, who don't adhere to reality. And if you happen to adhere to reality, then you can lose your job, because apparently adhering to reality is a religion, okay, according to St. Philip's College out in Texas, that fired a biology professor by the name of Dr. Johnson Vargas for simply discussing facts about how X and Y chromosomes determine sex.
I just teach basic biology. That's all I teach.
Let's talk about one particular day when you're in the middle of your lecture and you kind of notice that 4 students have gotten up and walked out of your classroom. What were you teaching that day that appeared to trigger them, to cause them to exit the room?
That day I was teaching the chapter on human reproductive system. So when I teach human reproductive system, I emphasize on the fact that male and female, or the maleness or the femaleness, are controlled by 2 genes. See, in all our cells, we have 23 pairs of genes, and chromosomes. Mm-hmm. So the 23rd pair is that determines the sex of a person. So if that 23rd pair of chromosomes are X and X, it is a female, and if it's X and Y, it's a male. And I mentioned in the class that that's what makes male and female, not our thinking.
Yeah, so allegedly, according to St. Philip's College, teaching basic biology is now pushing religion, right? I want you guys to understand how much we're in Google for Cocoa Puff world here. Teaching facts about biology, that chromosomes determine sex, not your thinking in your head, that is a religion, right? That is a religion, because that is what the college claims they fired them for, right? Pushing a religion. Absolutely ridiculous, okay? But if you say that, hey, my sex or my gender is not determined by chromosomes or biology, is all in my head, apparently that is fact, right? That is scientific fact, and if you disagree with it, you're a science denier, right? You are a bigot, right? This is what they say, right? This is what they're telling you. Again, it's just crazy the world that we live in. And that brings me to Neil deGrasse Tyson, who allegedly is a scientist. He's an astrophysicist whose job quite literally is to study the nature of reality. And apparently he's now denying reality because he's been baptized in the new woke religion, right, of gender ideology. Okay, that's what is happening here. Okay, he has now bowed at the altar of wokeism, okay, as he is now coming out and basically claiming that gender is on a spectrum, and he has been destroyed by everybody on the internet for coming out with this silly rant, including by people like Patrick Bet-David.
Pushing that agenda onto kids and confusing people and gaslighting that, hey, XX, who knows? Maybe XY, who knows? When you start talking like that with facts, and you're a respectable scientist, not only do you sound delusional, but what you sound like is someone like Leon Black, that somebody has something behind closed doors on you that's blackmailing you, that you have to now agree with these positions for somebody to say, how the hell did you go from being a respected scientist to all of a sudden saying, one day I can wake up feeling like a female, one day I can wake up feeling like a male, and why do you care?
Yeah, I think PBD has some good points there, right? What does the woke mob have on Neil deGrasse Tyson, who, again, his job as a scientist quite literally is to study the nature of reality? And this guy clearly is not in touch with reality, because who knows? Again, maybe he is now, again, a follower of wokeism, okay? Or so it seems. So I actually want to play Chloe Cole's response. She's a detransitioner. I want to play her response to Neil deGrasse Tyson in his little rant here so you guys can actually see what he said. Because who better than a detransitioner to destroy Neil deGrasse Tyson and his silly arguments? So let's go ahead and get into it.
Apparently, the XXXY chromosomes are insufficient. Because when we wake up in the morning, we exaggerate whatever feature we want to portray the gender of our choice.
How about we stop confusing basic human biology with cosmetics? Like, what a weird jump. If I don't wear makeup most days. If I leave the house without makeup on, does that make me like 70% male?
Somewhere, I think I read that the United States was a land where we have the pursuit of happiness.
If it was only truly about aesthetics, nobody would care. It's my business because you're using 1950s gender stereotypes to justify an ideology that leads to the sterilization and mastectomies of 15-year-old girls who just don't fit in. Girls like me.
Suppose no matter my chromosomes, today I feel 80% female, 20% male. I'm gonna put on makeup. I'm gonna do that. Tomorrow I might feel 80% male.
I wonder what his gender was when he recorded this. Like, he doesn't have a muscle shirt on, right? No spray tan, no falsies. It's probably like 50% male in this.
I'll remove the makeup and I'll wear a muscle shirt. Why do you care?
Yeah.
What business is it of yours to require that I fulfill your inability to think of gender on a spectrum?
Because the only thing that you've established in this video is that men wear trousers and tank tops, but women, they wear lipstick and dresses. The idea that people can be percentages of either male or female just further reinforces the fact that biological sex is a binary. There's only two. There may only be two sexes, but there are an infinite number of personalities. I mean, it really doesn't take a degree in astrophysics to understand that.
Yo, she destroyed Neil deGrasse Tyson, again, in probably the most cohesive and logical way possible, okay? Because Neil deGrasse Tyson apparently believes that gender is on a spectrum, okay? He believes that one day you can wake up and be 80% male and 20% female, which, by the way, those are gender terms. They're not terms related to sex, which, again, by the way, as a scientist, he needs to be very careful how he uses that language because, again, you're talking about male and female. Male and female refer to sex. There's no such thing as being an 80% male and 20% female. That's not how it works. Again, I'm trying to basically adhere to terms that the left set in regards to definitions, okay? Because if you confuse sex and gender, they'll say, well, you're ignorant, you're uneducated, you don't know what you're talking about, you're confusing sex and gender. When, again, the woke revolutionaries confuse sex and gender more than anybody, right? But again, like Chloe Cole stated, I wonder what percentage male or female was Neil deGrasse Tyson, okay, on the day that he made that video. I mean, he probably was just drinking too many Bud Lights, right? That's my theory, okay? He just drunk one too many Bud Lights, and he woke up and thought that he was maybe 50% female that day, right? I mean, just from his rant, I would have to say that he probably was more like 70, 80% female, right? Because men who come out here and, defend this type of ideology, right, in the name of wokeness, again, I am questioning your manhood, right? That probably is the most convincing evidence that gender is on a spectrum is, again, when you have biological males coming out here and defending this nonsense. But anyways, Neil deGrasse Tyson asked this question of, well, why do people care? Right? If people can just dress and express themselves the way that they want to. Well, again, first and foremost, how you dress and how you express yourself based off gender stereotypes that are a social construction in regards to how we dress. Again, some of it does have a biological function. Actually, I would argue that it originates from a biological function. The reason why men wear pants and women wear dresses has to do with biology, even though, there are some cultures and societies where, again, men do wear dresses and stuff like that. But just for the most part, biology was the foundation for why we kind of dress the way we do. Okay. And we wear what we wear. But regardless, what you wear doesn't determine your sex. What you wear and how you express yourself and what you wear does not change your sex. It has nothing to do with your biology in regards to what you are or what you were born as. Again, I don't understand why this is a concept that an astrophysicist doesn't seem to be able to understand, right? It really blows my mind. It has to be one of the wonders of the universe that Neil deGrasse Tyson probably should study, okay? Since this guy studies the universe for a living, how in the world do we live in a universe where an astrophysicist, a guy who studies reality, doesn't seem to be in touch with it, right? It's kind of crazy to think about. But again, he asked, why does it matter? Well, it matters because not that people care about what people wear, okay? I don't care if a man wants to wear a dress. If he wants to cross dress, that's on him. I'm not trying to take away his freedom to do that. But what happens is when a man starts to call himself a woman and wants to be treated like a woman, that goes against reality and biology in the way that we have organized society, because we have organized society around sex. And when that happens, that creates chaos and confusion, right? Like, for example, what happens in women's locker rooms, where you have women being traumatized by the fact that men are going into locker rooms thinking that they're women and exposing their genitalia that is not a woman's genitalia in the locker room, right? Whether, it's something where they don't mean to do it or what, but hey, if you're in the locker room and you're undressing, you're exposing yourself, right? You have that, okay? You also have these people trying to dictate laws, right? To be able to teach this type of ideology in school, to push it on children, to have biological boys compete against biological girls in sports, which is not fair to biological girls, right? When you're pushing this stuff and you're trying to change the way that we operate and function as a society, yes, it matters, right? Nobody cares if you want to sit in your house, okay, and get all the surgeries that you want to wear whatever clothes you want to wear, you want to put on all the makeup you want to put on, what? Nobody cares about that. And call yourself a boy or a girl, right? I don't care. I only care when you try to push it on the rest of society and to force everybody else to adhere to something that is not grounded in a biological reality, right? That's when people actually care. Again, hey, if people want to be trans, I don't care, right? Do you live your life? But up until a certain point, again, where you are now trying to dictate the lives of other people and how other people are supposed to live to accommodate your reality, right? That's the problem. And again, what is a bigger problem, in my opinion, is when you have scientists, again, people who literally study reality for a living, right? Or study the nature of reality, that are going against this because of woke ideology, rather than, adhering to what they have spent all their time learning in school and studying, right? Neil deGrasse Tyson knows damn well, if he talks to his fellow colleagues who are also scientists, right? He knows damn well that they're going to tell him that, yo, this, like, you're wrong. Okay. Talk to an evolutionary biologist. Again, Richard Dawkins. Okay. Who I'm pretty sure Neil deGrasse Tyson agrees with on a whole lot of stuff, right? Richard Dawkins is an evolutionary biologist. He's like, no, sex is binary, right? It's binary. Okay. And this is what it is. You're male or you're female. And again, he's sticking with that because that is what he has observed, right, from nature and reality. That's what he studied. That's what he knows. Okay. Now, again, I may disagree with Richard Dawkins on some things, like philosophically when it comes to the existence of God, but regardless of my disagreement there, I'm going to trust his background as an evolutionary biologist when it comes to this subject of sex, right? Sex and gender. So again, it's one thing when you have a politician do it. It's one thing when you have a woke revolutionary do it, right? To come out here and to push back against this stuff because they're trying to get votes. They're trying to, protest or whatever. They're trying to push their woke ideology on everybody else. It's another thing when you have a scientist, somebody that is supposed to stay objective when it comes to reality, right? That should not be out here trying to score woke political points. That, again, is pushing something that goes against what they study and what they know as a scientist. Again, it really does show you that we're moving towards a very disturbing place in society when you have scientists coming out here and going along with this stuff. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.